Let's stay with a related development. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, which is also probing those claims of criminality, interference and corruption in the justice system, is preparing to resume its hearings. Today, it'll decide on whether the sessions will be held in camera or be open to the public. SABC News senior reporter Canny Maphanga is part of our team watching that story from the Justice Mabandla College and joins us now live. And Canny, the last time we were there was an adjournment because there were concerns that the technology set up there may actually compromise the safety of witness X, and I imagine those are the kind of things that have to be ventilated today before we get a sense of how today's hearing will proceed.
Indeed. Good morning to you, Ayanda, and to the viewers at home. Well, at the outset, it's already been stated before on Tuesday that the witnesses that were scheduled for Thursday and Friday, that is today and tomorrow, those are in-camera witnesses. When that draft order was agreed upon between the two parties, that is the evidence leaders of the commission itself and lawyers on behalf of News 24 and Daily Maverick, that was on the basis of those witnesses that were in the category 2 of the request for in-camera hearings. So there was a blanket in-camera request, and then there was the category 2, which would be those who were anonymized and would testify through an intermediary, and they would be tested in accordance with that procedural approach. However, that approach fell flat on Tuesday when there were technical challenges that risked endangering that particular witness, that is witness X, and of course that testimony was abruptly stopped, and we saw the evidence leader having to read that statement into the record. Of course, that procedural approach had its flaws insofar as the fact that although the statement was read out in the record and we had access to that, there were portions of that statement that needed to be qualified further. However, that element was not there because witness X had been relieved from the stand due to this technical challenge that could risk his safety, which would go against the very reason why the evidence leaders have requested for these in-camera hearings. So what we understand, Ayanda, is that each witness will be dealt with case by case. I see that lawyers on behalf of News 24 and Daily Maverick are here prior to the 9:30 a.m. start. But at the outset, it has always been the position of the evidence leaders that these particular witnesses for Thursday and Friday, who weren't part of the agreement in the draft order that was made a final order and was later substituted with an afternoon order because of those developments that I've described earlier, it was made clear that these witnesses are in-camera witnesses. So at the very least, we don't know if that position will remain, but the decision or the process leading up to the decision as to how these witnesses are going to give their evidence, that will be done in an open process where the media and the public will have access to it. However, if the commission rules that these are going to be in-camera witnesses, then the consequence will be that the media and the public will not have access to this particular leg. It remains to be seen whether a compromise will be made with respect to their statements. Remember, there was an agreement on Tuesday that where a witness testifies or an anonymous witness testifies, that a statement would be made available the next day and it would only be redacted as long as it's necessary to do so. So it's not clear as to whether or not the evidence leaders will remain in their strong position that these Thursday and Friday witnesses are in-camera witnesses that need to be safeguarded because of the kind of sensitive evidence that they're going to be giving to the commission, and in what the commission will do going forward to strike a balance between this obligation to safeguard these witnesses, protect them, and ensure that they can give evidence freely and fairly without any risk of harm, but also to ensure that the principles of open justice and media freedom are respected in this particular process, as there's a lot of interest from the public in this very important inquiry that seeks to establish the facts surrounding these allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system. We're always on time here, Ayanda, so 9:30 a.m. that's where we'll get all those details. Over to you in studio.
And that's in a few moments' time. Canny Maphanga, let's release you to get your setup ready. Thanks very much indeed for that update. Canny reporting live to us there from Pretoria.